Okay, I know I did say we move into the next chapter, but this log file is just bothering me too much. Obviously, we are saving to the file which may have permission 777 in order for PHP to be able to write into this file, and I'm not happy with this. Because obviously, 777 means everyone can write anything to this file, and you don't want people to have access to your server in any way. Okay, so what we're going to do instead is we're going to put all this information to the database, to our order table exactly. So together with our order, we're gonna place all this information. We're not going to be bothered creating several fields. We're just gonna create one, and we basically put all this lot, all this data from IPN into this field, because it's fairly unlikely you're gonna ever use this information. If you will use this information for any purpose, then you will be able to obviously get all this information for one field, displaying them on a page using HTML, some HTML tags and so on. So let's create another field right after payment status in our orders table. So payment status and go. And this one will be IPN. And we're going to make it text. Okay, we can now save the table. So we have our IPN field. If we go back to our editor, open our classes folder and our paypal.php. If we scroll right to the bottom, there's our IPN method. So we won't be using save log method anymore, and instead we're going to change the approve one. So for the approve one, we are going to send the entire IPN data array, plus we're going to send the result, the IPN result. So 2 parameters only. We can actually put them on the separate lines anyway, so that should be fine. Now we can remove all this, actually like that. So we're passing array and the result. So now what we're going to do, we need to obviously open our order class and search for our approve method, which was right at the bottom here. So we obviously need to modify this slightly. So first of all, we're going to have an array here, by default null, and the second one will be what was it actually? It was result. So result null. Okay, and we can remove all these here, and we only check if is an empty array and is an empty result. Okay, now we need payment status. So obviously, first of all, we need to check also if array key exists, and we're going to be looking for, if we look at this, txn ID, and we're looking for this inside of our array, and we're going to put it on separate lines as well. So this is one of the conditions, and then array key exists, and this time we're looking for payment status, because these ones are the ones which we actually need. And again, array key exists, custom, which is basically the ID of our order record. Obviously we need to put array here as well as second parameter for array key exists. Okay, so if it does, then we are going to execute our statement. I'm going to close this browser here so that it doesn't, so we can see it a little bit better. So obviously all this needs to go inside of this if statement here. Okay, slightly indented. Okay, so now we check array status, obviously, so it's going to be payment status index of our array. So if array payment status equals completed, then active equals 1, otherwise it equals 0. So that's fine. Now payment status, we obviously need to use our array now. So sorry, it's going to be array, and we passing actually no, we're going to be passing active because this is manually generated value, so that's fine. But for txn ID, we're going to use our array and the index txn underscore ID from this array. For payment status, we will use obviously payment status index, and where ID equals, and we're going to use custom here as ID of our order. Now, that's not everything, because what we also need to add is, obviously, we need to set another field, which we've just created, which was IPN. And IPN equals, and the same thing, dot to concatenate this db escape. And we're going to create this value in a second. And after this single quote, to obviously continue with our statement. Now this one will be called, what are we going to call it? We're going to call it out. So we start here after this if statement, out equals array. And now for each array, as key equals value. And now we are going to add our keys and values to our out array. So out equals, and we're going to do it in the double quotes, curly brace key, colon, value. Okay, so now we have our array with all of the values, obviously. What we need to do now is obviously concatenate this in some way. So out equals implode, and we're going to use new line character, so \n and our out array. So now we basically put in every single item of this array on a new line, and then obviously it's going to be easier to output this on a page. So we've got our out, but we also need to add our result. So we haven't added this field to the database yet, but after IPN status, we're going to add status equals single quote, then concatenation again, this db escape and the result, and then concatenation again, single quote after double one, and that should be fine. So obviously we need to create this field status here. If we go back, do we have any status here? We have status actually, so we need to call it somehow otherwise, differently basically. So what we're going to call it, let's call it response. Okay, save the file, go back, and after IPN, we want to create another one called response. Varchar is fine, let's make it 100 characters max and save. And that should do the trick now. That's all fine, we've got all the commas in place. That should be working. Okay, and then we have query. That's all fine. Yep, okay, let's move to the next video and quickly test it again just to make sure that everything works fine.